Now the cell-to-cell adhesions. After you have done with the session on the cell membrane and cell organelles, let's have a look how the cells are combined to each other and kept at their own place, or rather they keep on floating in the interstitial fluid. So these are the three components which keep the cell at their place, starting from the extracellular matrix, some cell adhesion molecules, and some cellular junctions. Starting from the extracellular matrix, the most important things which act as the adhesion of cell extracellular matrix include collagen, elastin, and fibronectin. This collagen, it provides the tensile strength. So what this tensile strength is, basically tensile strength is the ability of something to withstand some stress. For example, compressional strength or collateral strength, or if it is elongated, up till how long it will sustain its structure without being broken. This is its tensile strength. And the collagen in the extracellular matrix is providing this tensile strength. Elastin is providing the elasticity where the it can elongate or compress without losing its structural integrity. And fibronectin, most importantly, is the one, that extracellular protein, which is helping in keeping the cells together, that thus acting as a glue. Next are the cell adhesion molecules. These are present either in the cell membrane or intracellular surface, or are the peripheral proteins, including integrins, cadherins, IgG superfamily, and selectin. Integrins are involved in heterophilic binding, for example, from cell to the basal lamina. Cadherins are calcium dependent, C for calcium and C for cadherins, and are involved in homophilic binding, like two similar cells, like two liver cells, two cardiac cells, two muscle cells joined to each other. IgG superfamily is immunoglobulin superfamily, which is helping in adhesion. And selectins, so lectin-like domains that can bind carbohydrates. These four types of proteins act as the cellular adhesion molecules in the cells, and these are also involved in various cellular junctions. Those cellular junctions are majorly of three types: gap junctions, which help in the transport of materials between two cells; tight junctions, which tightly occlude the passage of any material between the cells; and the adhering junctions, which help in keeping the cells together. So, tight junctions are of also known as zonula occludens, whereas adhering junctions are further of two types: those which are helping in linking cell to cell, and those which are involved in linking the cell to the basement membrane or the basal lamina. Those attaching the cell to the basal lamina are focal adhesions and hemidesmosomes. Those attaching cell to cell are zonular adherents and desmosomes. We will look into the details one by one. So starting from the extracellular matrix, which acts as a biological glue, as it has an intricate meshwork of fibrous proteins embedded in a jelly-like carbohydrate substance, which is the interstitial fluid, having the glycosaminoglycans, chondroitin sulfate, and etc. These fibrous proteins, most important in gluing the cells, are collagen, elastin, and fibronectin. Collagen is not elastic but flexible, thus provides tensile strength, as we discussed before. Elastin is a stretchable protein that can elongate, and fibronectin promotes the cell adhesions directly. Cell adhesion molecules act as the velcro for attachment of the cells to the extracellular matrix. These are also involved in signaling, embryonic development, holding tissue together, inflammation, immunity, wound healing, metastasis of tumors. For example, if these cell adhesion molecules are underrepresented, the cells will not stay attached to each other, rather disperse via blood to other destinations. For example, a metastatic liver cell lost in the pulmonary circulation. It can help in homophilic binding, cell-to-cell binding, versus heterophilic binding, for example, cell to the basal lamina. Intracellular versus extracellular binding. For example, the cell adhesion molecules from inside a cell to the inside of the cell. For example, from inside of the cell to the outside in the extracellular matrix. Cell adhesion molecules examples include integrins, which help in forming heterodimers, IgG superfamily, cadherins in homodimers, selectins are lectin-like molecules that provide attachment to the carbohydrates. And then the intercellular connections, which are also known as adhering junctions. Other category, cell junctions for communication, and lastly the tight junction. We will have a look at them one by one. Again, the tight junctions, gap junctions, and adhering junctions. Adhering junctions further of two types. So, one by one we will have a look, starting from the zonula occludens, which are also known as the tight junctions. As you can see over here, two neighboring cell membranes and tightly locked to each other by this claudin protein, and also this is known as the kiss site, as the claudin protein of two cell membranes is joined to each other over here and occluding the passage in between these two interlacing plasma membranes. So what are these zonula occludens? Are the opposed ridges from the adjacent cells. Major proteins included, one is occludin, as is evident from its name, occludens. Number 2, it involves claudin proteins. Number 3, it involves junctional adhesion molecules. So we have seen extracellular proteins, adhesion molecules, and the cell junctions. So this cell junction is also involving an adhesion molecule, the junctional adhesion molecule, and two intracellular proteins or transmembrane proteins, claudins and occludens. These are found at the apical margin of the cells in the epithelial sheets. For example, this is an epithelial sheet having the columnar cells. Zonula occludens will be found at its apical margin. For example, intestinal mucosa, renal tubules, choroid plexus. The brain capillaries have many zonula occludens because these are much less leaky and they have a special function to occlude the passage of any unnecessary substances between the brain substance and the blood. These can be really tight, forming complete barriers. For example, in the thick ascending limb of the loop of Henle, or it can be leaky. These tight junctions might not be that tight, for example, in the proximal convoluted tubule. They prevent the movement of proteins in the plane of the membrane. For example, found at the apical surface of the epithelial cells, though the transmembrane proteins and the peripheral proteins in the basal end and the apical end will be separated, and these zonula occludens will not allow any intermingling of these two. So they help in the maintenance of the distribution of the transmembrane proteins like the transporters, channel proteins between the apical and the basolateral surface. They separate the polarized surfaces of the plasma membrane into the apical and basolateral domains. Also important in providing the endothelial barrier function, like in the seminiferous tubules, like in the brain. So one function is endothelial barrier function, polarization of the cell, separation of transmembrane proteins, and deciding the leakiness of the epithelial membrane. Next, gap junctions, the second type of cellular communication channels. These are composed of two opposed hexameric structures, as you can see over here. One hexagonic structure, hexameric structure here and one here, and each structure known as one connexon. And when combined, they form one gap junction. Each connexon has 6 identical subunits called connexon. So 6 connexons will join to form one connexon, and 2 connexons will join to form one gap junction. And there are multiple gap junctions between two neighboring cells. For example, in cardiac cells, for example, in unitary smooth muscle cells like seen in the viscera, bladder, uterus, gut, These are found in virtually all mammalian cells except adult skeletal muscle cells and the erythrocytes. There are no gap junctions in these. These are involved in rapid propagation of the electrical activity as well as chemical activity between the cells without passing through the extracellular fluid. So it's a quick manner and no involvement of the ECF. They also provide unrestricted passage of small nutrients between the cells. For example, glucose and amino acids can cross through these from one cell to the other, like in the developing egg. The cumulus ovophorus providing nutrition to the developing ovum. That was all about the gap junctions. So we have seen zonula occludens, the tight junctions, and the gap junctions. Now we are moving to the adhering junctions, starting from the zonula adherens, which is providing cell-to-cell binding. This is a structure on the basal side of zonula occludens. This is the apical side, zonula occludens. Just below this, on the basal side, is the zonula adherens. This zonula adherens provide attachment to the intracellular microfilaments. If you remember from the cytoskeleton, microtubules, microfilaments, and the intermediate filaments. The microfilaments are formed from the actin, and zonula adherens has involvement of these microfilaments and some extracellular transmembrane proteins. From the cell adhesion molecules, it has adhesion cadherins. Cadherins are calcium-dependent, homodimeric cell adhesion molecules. So, in cell-to-cell junctions, we can have cadherins. In cell-to-basal lamina junctions, we can see integrins. So, you do not need to memorize it, just conceptual aspect. As it is a cell-to-cell junction, so here we will find cadherin. Number 2, we will have microfilament. This is just basal to the zonula occludens. What is the function of it? It provides epithelial cells with clues about the nature and proximity of the neighbors. So, signaling from the neighborhood. Formation of these junctions initiates the assembly of subcortical cytoskeleton in which anchor proteins are embedded, like cadherins. So, microfilaments and cadherins, and the purpose is keeping the cells in place, cell-to-cell binding, plus cell signaling from the neighborhood. Next is desmosomes. These are opposed, dense, button-like cytoplasmic thickenings of two adjacent cells. Again, cell-to-cell binding and the thickenings of cytoplasm of two adjacent cells which are joined to each other. Now here the cytoskeletal element involved is the intermediate filament rather than the microfilament, and these intermediate filaments are functioning along with some transmembrane proteins. So here you can see the button-like cytoplasmic thickenings of two opposed cells, and you can see the intermediate filaments attached over here. For example, keratin in case of epithelial cells. And here you can see the transmembrane proteins, and all in combination from the desmosomes, and desmosomes are even more basal to the zonula adherens. The most apical zonula occludens, under that zonula adherens, and even basal to that are the desmosomes, and these desmosomes are having transmembrane proteins and the intermediate filaments, whereas zonula adherens were having cadherins and microfilaments. Now, what is the function of these desmosomes? They act as the spot rivets, like these screws fitting into one another and providing a strong sort of attachment. These desmosomes are doing the same to these neighboring cells. These are the strongest cell-to-cell connections and most abundant in the tissues which are subjected to considerable stretching, so that they can provide tensile strength and reducing the chances of breaking the tissue down in case of stretch. So that was about the cell-to-cell adhesion, including zonula adherence in the desmosomes. Now moving to the adhesion of the cell to the basal lamina. First of all, via the hemidesmosomes, as you can see over here. These look like half desmosomes that attach cell to the underlying basal lamina. Again, desmosomes had intermediate filaments. Hemidesmosomes also have intermediate filaments, but there are no transmembrane proteins between the cells. Rather, now they have involvement of cell adhesion molecules, integrins, instead of cadherins. Cadherins are cell-to-cell adhesion binding proteins, which we see in the zonula adherens. Now, this is cell to basal lamina attachment, so we have integrins and intermediate filaments as that of the desmosomes. For example, found in the stratified epithelium, where layers and layers of the epithelia are arranged over one another. So these hemidesmosomes will be providing attachment to the basal lamina or the basement membrane. Then the focal adhesion, another type of cell attachment to the basal lamina. These are again integrin dependent. Of course, they cannot be cadherin. Large complexes, but now they have microfilaments instead of the intermediate filaments like that of the desmos. Zonula adherens also had microfilaments. Focal adhesions also have microfilaments, but they have integrins instead of cadherins as they are providing attachment to the basal lamina. The function is attachment to the basal lamina. Also, they function in signaling, migration, proliferation, apoptosis. These are flexible labile structures and are associated with actin filament inside the microfilament. That is why they can assemble and disassemble when needed, leading to formation of focal adhesion complexes, as you will see when you will discuss the amoeboid locomotion. If the connections are abnormal, connections we saw in the gap junctions, let me show you again over here. If the connection is abnormal because of some genetic mutation, the symptoms can appear in many of the organ systems, as you can appreciate in this image, starting from your special senses to skin, to the CNS, to the CVS. Any organ system can be involved depending upon the type of mutation and the organ involved. So let's quickly review it again. Extracellular matrix, collagen, elastin, fibronectin, the biological glue, cell adhesion molecules, the cell-to-cell adhesion by integrins, cell to basal lamina adhesion by cadherins, IgG superfamily, and carbohydrate attachment by selectins, cell junctions, gap junctions, tight junctions versus adhering junctions, and adhering junctions again of two types, either cell to cell or cell to basal lamina attachment. That's all about the cellular junctions and adhesions. Thank you very much.